Welcome back to OtakuDaiKun. I'm here with Ray Kentman.
Yo, what's good with you?
We're going to be looking at a ton of new gaming announcements that hit. Was it Summer Games Fest and Nintendo Direct? It was a whole bunch of things all at once.
It was the State of Play, then going into the Summer Games Fest, and the Xbox Showcase, and then the Nintendo Direct. It felt like E3 all over again, and it just felt amazing.
Okay, I want to get started with Xenoblade Genesis, if that's okay.
God.
Now, how much of Xenoblade have you played?
Now, I've played Xenoblade Chronicles 2 first before I was able to play the original, because I had a Wii U, but I got a Wii U kind of late, only for like Mario Kart and Smash and like certain titles, but I didn't get the chance to play Xenoblade Chronicles 1, but I did play a lot of 2. And I've been waiting. I was waiting for this announcement of the 3 original games to come back onto Switch 2, the Switch 2 upgrade, to play all of them in a row before I play 3. Because I've heard good things about 3. I have tried so many times to dodge all spoilers.
Yeah. So you mentioned the second thing I was going to, which is that all 3 mainline Xenoblade games, 1, 2, and 3, are on Switch 2 now, digitally. They're going to get a physical version later.
I'm waiting for
the Switch 2 editions are like a $5 upgrade if you own the original.
Yes.
And they are going to be in 4K. I hope that it's native 4K, because there's a bit of a controversy with Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition on Switch 2, which all they did for that was apply an upscale filter to like the entire screen, and it doesn't look as good as it could. Like if you ran the game in an emulator, these games never got the luxury of coming out on PlayStation, so they were always held back by their hardware. They're gorgeous games, amazing graphics, but low clarity on the console output, so I'm really excited to see what they're doing there.
I mean, they're also adding new content to the game as well, so like I think that's cool of them to like also like, you know, give us like an upscale of those games, and for people who hasn't played them before, they give them a more of enticing reason to play these versions because they'll have that extra content. One thing that does concern me a little bit is that they said they're going to be getting new outfits for Mythra and Pyra and Mythra. I don't know what that really entails. I don't know if anyone else caught that.
They did say that.
So I'm like curious, as you know, a person that loves fan service, is curious of what that actually means.
Hopefully it's an additional outfit and not a replacement, because that would be ridiculous.
That would be ridiculous
if they did that. Because the game's been out forever.
Right.
They've been in Smash. They've been all these things. Yeah.
Right.
Hopefully they don't just apply the Smash version to everything, because that was an optional outfit in the second game. They added that later, but it wasn't a replacement.
Because like I know that 2 gets a bad flack for how fan service it was, but it still was a great story with great characters, and it doesn't take away from the overall appeal of it. But I'm excited.
I think it increases the appeal.
It increases the appeal for me.
Before we move on, again, so the new modes you were talking about for all 3 games, Xenoblade Chronicles 1 has new modes of travel. You can, I guess it's like a hovercraft thing on the water, so you don't have to swim as long. It's a nice little quality of life thing. It doesn't change the game phenomenally in any way.
Was it always where the walking speed was slow for most people? Did people complain about not being able to travel across the map as fast or something?
Kind of. I guess especially for water. There are sections of like ocean and whatnot, so now you can traverse those more fun.
Oh, that's cool.
It's never going to be as fast as in Xenoblade X, where you could like full on sprint or ride mechs, but I never thought it was a problem myself. But I think it's a nice little quality of life to add. In Xenoblade 2, they have a new mode, a new like challenge battle mode, or like an arena, where you can control the blades in battle instead of just having them paired with Rex, which is really cool. Because one of the things I always wanted to do is play as Pyra or Mythra, which is great for Smash, because you could do that.
Right.
But I guess it's not the whole game. You don't get to play the blades in the main story, but it's a fun mode. Talking, Xenoblade Genesis, it's a brand new game. It has a female lead. It looks really cool in that regard. It's kind of got this Fire Emblem Three Houses style school setting.
I noticed that. I did notice
where they're all in like school uniforms and whatnot. I'm hoping there will be a bit more cosmetic options in the game, because it seems kind of like low on the fan service scale there because of that.
Yeah, there is one character that did have some fan service. I had to like eye drop it later when I was watching the trailer, but I don't know her name, but she was like, it came in the later the trailer. She had like a pole arm, and she had a nice ass. You know, I don't know if that's Stellar Blade inspired or not, but I was like, okay, I see you. But I did notice that besides the Three Houses inspiration, I felt like this game had a lot of Frieren inspiration as well, from what I was looking at it and how it's like set up and stuff. So especially because it revolves around elves and stuff, I was like, is that like an inspiration from Frieren because it was so popular? But either way, I'm happy because I love elves and I love Three Houses and I love like the more like animated cutscenes that they have. It looks like they took a lot from what they did right in 3 to this, and I thought the game looked beautiful, absolutely gorgeous.
Oh yeah, no matter what my worries are, it is absolutely an instant buy. That was never a question for me. They've just done so well. I've been following them ever since Xenogears, just like you were saying.
Yeah.
But let's see here. I'm curious on how much this title will tie into the previous games, because Xenoblade 3, with its DLC chapter, Future Redeemed, I believe, was starting to drop cameos and little references to the Xenosaga games.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, whoa, like, those are still owned by Namco Bandai. So I'm wondering how, Monolith Soft now is portraying that. We did have Cosmos, like you said, in Xenoblade 2, but that was more of a cameo than anything. But now it seems like
as far as
they might be trying to interweave some of the lore. So I'm curious to see if this has anything to do with that, or if it's completely separate. They also tried to do something very interesting with Xenoblade X Definitive Edition. The new content finally wraps up the plot. What do they call that? The cliffhanger plot twist at the very end of that game.
Yeah.
And led it in a new direction that seems like it's, again, connecting it to the other games. So I'm curious how that's all going to play in, because from the trailer, it doesn't look like the other Xenoblades at all.
No, it does not. I can attest that as someone that's not that familiar with playing all the games. I could tell this is completely different. It looks like I don't know if the team who made Fire Emblem was assisting them in this game or not, but like, because I know for a while Molotov was like responsible for helping Nintendo and like Pokemon get their games on Switch because of the low, how they were able to like fit all that data into a small cartridge, and they were like helping them. So I want to know if they like kind of like piggybacked off of like Fire Emblem Three Houses and stuff to help them with their new art direction.
Yeah, I wonder if they had that inspiration. And then, we wouldn't have had any of the Breath of the Wild games if not for Monolith Soft either, because they're the ones who pioneered that open world technology on Nintendo consoles.
True.
And then, so let's go to Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. That comes out September 17th.
Oh my god. Now,
that's one of the reasons I needed a Switch too.
Same. Like, because there was no other game that was like drawing me into buying a Switch to. Because like, I mean, I was going to get it eventually for Mario Kart, but like, it's Mario Kart at the end of the day. Even though Mario Kart World, I'm having a blast with playing it, but it's Mario Kart at the end of the day. And then of course Pokemon, I was going to get it for Switch 2 for that, but then they released it on Switch 1 too, so I was like, well, I'm not going to buy it just for Pokemon. And then they announced a new Pokemon, and then for Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, and I was just like, yeah, okay, I got to. Because I buy every system for Nintendo for Fire Emblem. I did it for the 3DS, I did it for, the GameCube, and I just kept up the tradition ever since. So like, Fire Emblem was going to be the game that made me cry. It's one of those series that I wish it wasn't a Nintendo exclusive, but it is, so here I am.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's had its ups and downs. The series has had weird censorship and lots of stuff, but this one looks solid. I don't see any red flags flying up just yet. Fire Emblem Engage was kind of a mess with its localization, so it's quite possible this would be too. But I'm trying to be optimistic. What I'm seeing there looks amazing. I'm obsessed with the character Lita, the musician.
Oh, Lita's really cute. She's really cute.
She's got like.
I'm a Theodora love her. A die-hard stan.
Yep, she seems like kind of like an Amazon queen.
Yeah,
Theodora,
she has like,
yeah.
And I love that they were like actually showing true gameplay. It has that same like turn-based tactical RPG-ness that I love for Fire Emblem. And then also you get to explore the world through all the different like eyes of the 4 protagonists, which is going to be cool. Man, there's just so much about this game that I'm just looking forward to getting that true taste of Fire Emblem like that we had in Three Houses, and it's going to be amazing.
I'm curious how much they intend for you to play as all the protagonists, or if it's kind of like Three Houses where you choose a route and stick with it for that entire playthrough.
Right. I'm actually curious of how much like Three Houses is going to play effectiveness, because Sophis is still here, but she's older. So I want to know how much time has passed from Three Houses to this.
There's some lore adjacency, which is cool. I kind of like how in this one it looks like you get to recruit people on your own no matter what. Like there's not like an affiliation restriction.
Yeah.
I hope not anyway. Like if you choose Lita, you should be able to get any other character. I don't know what they're gonna do as far as romance options go.
I don't know.
As far as I know, they haven't actually no, Engage did let you do same sex.
They did let you do it.
All right, another Nintendo one, Ocarina of Time, Legend of Zelda is getting its remake sometime in 2026, which is earlier than what you'd think for just the little piece they showed us.
It sucks that got leaked. I hate this new internet that everything gets leaked that we can't.
Oh yeah, it got leaked, but we didn't have any visuals of it when it was, right? It was just kind of like the news.
Yes, I'm excited for the game. I was so excited for the announcement, but just imagine how hype that would have been if we just didn't know.
But yeah, because all we did is see little Link sleeping. It'll be cool to see more of the game. It's obviously more ambitious than what we got on the 3DS, which is just like a remaster of it. I'm curious to see how the structure of that game will play out, like how faithful they will be to like the original dungeon designs and things like that, or if they're gonna completely reimagine what that world looks like. Maybe it'll be more open world, something between like a classic Zelda game and more of the Breath of the Wilds. It might redefine what the future of Zelda could be.
Right. I'm just anticipating like hearing the music, if they're going to keep it the same, or if it's going to be remixes of like the volcano sound, the Lost Woods, hearing the music in the trailer too. I'm sorry, I'm spazzing. My bad, I'm sorry.
Part of me wants to know just how creepy they're going to make that dude at the bottom of the well. What is that thing called?
Right? Oh.
That thing is nightmare fuel, and it was kind of lent itself to the old poly graphics back then, but they have a chance to make it nightmarish now. But yeah, so I'm excited. I think because we've seen Ocarina of Time so many times before in different forms, between like the Master Quest collections and things on the GameCube to 3DS and now, that I think people are more excited to see them play around with it a little bit more and experiment, as opposed to just give us a straight up, direct remake of the original. Which is very different than what a lot of people were expecting from Final Fantasy VII, which I think is a good segue into that one. We've got Final Fantasy VII Revelation, the third in their remake trilogy, coming out sometime next year.
In the spring of next year. Look, when I tell you there is not a game I've been waiting for more than Final Fantasy VII Remake. We can't even say part 3 anymore. Revelation, it's an understatement, because Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time. I love this game, and I am so excited to see like the final parts of what this reimagine of the original game is going to be, from Wu-Tai to seeing. I'm just like so like excited to like relive it, because. And like the fact that they revamped the combat system to where you can use like this new gear system that you can switch between, having a warrior or a magic or like healing and stuff.
Yeah, they've added a class system like old school Final Fantasy.
So freaking cool. And I love that they gave Tifa her having children look a little bit, and there it's like a little bit, oh my god, that game looks so amazing. I cannot freaking wait.
The remake games are not what I wanted. Certainly not originally when I heard there was going to be an FF7 remake. I feel like the first game, for 90% of it, was exactly what I wanted, and then they changed way too much weird stuff right at the end. And at that point, I had to just kind of accept that this is never going to be the remake I wanted it to be, the more faithful one. But at the same time, I'm still enjoying it. It's still insanely fun. The combat's great, the characters, the graphics, it's all just absolutely revolutionary. It's all like top tier gaming experience for me. So I'm enjoying what it is, but I just have to accept that it's not quite what I was hoping it would be.
I agree.
This one is cool because now we're finally getting to see like the high wind in action.
Yes.
I don't know how that's gonna work as far as exploring, like, because the game doesn't have an overworld traditionally, but it kind of got close with where you were taking the wrecked ship and just driving it around as a boat.
Yeah. And I love that you can like skydive from the air wing, and I'm curious of how you're going to get back up to it. I'm sure they have like a very tall ladder or something.
Yeah, I never thought about that. I think that's cool because it's a regular mechanic now, because otherwise they just did that when they drop into Midgar later on in the game.
Right, exactly.
I guess the question then is, if they are working so hard to add these extra features, kind of like how Rebirth had all these mini games and all these other things, you wonder what of the original game could have been included that was cut, because Rebirth did not have everything. And one of those things was interesting was, like Sid in Rocket Town. Rocket Town, I don't know if is even going to be in the remake anymore, possibly because of Sid being kind of like a sailor mouth swearing all over. His kind of verbal abuse of, was it Shara, I believe, in the original?
Yeah,
because she kind of ruined his dream. He's a very different character now. He's kind of like a southern gentleman, and it's very different than how he was written initially. So it makes me wonder which things are going to be kept. So like when you say snowboarding, that's great. Will we get the high wind? Is there going to be that slap fight between Tifa and Scarlet? I really want there to be.
I do want that too, I hope.
Yeah, because it was so funny. And the thing that makes me worried the most about this particular one is they're trying to wrap up the story, I imagine. They're not doing a fourth, which means that they're cramming the contents of discs 2 and 3 of the original game into a single game, which...
I'm actually kind of happy about that, because I am so tired of waiting for another part of a story.
But again, I hope it doesn't come at the cost of a lot of beloved stuff in those moments just kind of getting brushed along or rushed into.
Maybe.
We'll have to see.
I guess we'll have to see.
Again, there's no way to know for right now. I think my personal favorite from all of these announcements might just be Stellar Blade Blood Rain. That comes out next year. Looks absolutely fantastic. It looks a lot more fun than the original game, which I already loved.
Yes.
And I'm excited to see what they didn't show in the trailer. We've got the new character Evie. She's kind of a kick-ass tomboy. Her boxing fighting style is really cool, even though it kind of defeats the point of calling the game Stellar Blade anymore, because she doesn't have anything to do with the blade.
That's true.
But
I mean, I want
to see all the fun outfits she's eventually going to get.
Right.
Because that was my favorite part of Stellar Blade initially, was just all those outfits, unlocking them and whatnot. Hopefully, it looks like they're doing kind of more of like a cyberpunk city thing, and a lot less desert that we got from the first game. So I think that might lean better into the gameplay, and I'm hoping to see if they create a game that has a better sense of pacing in that regard, because it looks like they were still kind of experimenting a little bit with Stellar Blade. It was really good, but you could also see where they could improve.
It feels like a lot of things that the criticisms they have for Stellar Blade, from like the story-driven parts and like the characters not really interacting well, really was fleshed out in this game, because I feels like right off the bat you could tell like the dialogue in the conversations that whoever Evie was talking to on the earpiece, the conversations felt like a way more immersive than it was back in the day. But I won't even take that as a fault for Eve herself, because she was kind of like a fish out of water story, so it made sense of why she would talk the way she did sometimes. But Either way.
Well, yeah, they don't know who they are, basically.
Right, exactly. But Eevee, I love the fighting style. And I mean, it should be called Stellar Boxing versus Stellar Blade because she is just boxing everybody.
Stellar Fist.
Stellar Fist. And I love that Shift Up was so bold enough to be like, yes, we love Eve. She was amazing. She was beautiful. But we're going to switch things up. We're going to give you a more petite woman who is more tomboyish. And I love that this is, I hope that this sets a precedence for other developers to be more bold, to give us more tomboyish characters again, because for a while they disappeared, you know, in media. And I hope that Shift Up being bold about their stances about this character being hot and cool and fun and just a badass, that will get more like it, you know. It feels like she's like a mix of like Tifa boxing, but like Sakura build. And I love it. I love it.
Yeah, Sakura from Street Fighter?
Yeah.
Yep, that one.
I love it. I absolutely
that reminds me, and I forgot to write it down here, but we're getting Tifa in Street Fighter 6.
Yes.
So that's worth mentioning for sure. It wasn't like as big as the announcements. I don't think we haven't seen her 3D model yet, have we?
No, we haven't. And we probably won't see him for a while now. But the fact that was like one of the biggest like surprises of the night that no one could expect it. Like, I mean, obviously it got leaked, which unfortunately.
I was gonna say, yeah, it got leaked. I knew about it beforehand, but it was nice to see.
It was nice to see, because like it was like one of those things like, no way, because Square is so protective over Final Fantasy VII characters specifically. So the fact that they were going to be featured in another game was like, no way, it's not going to happen. Absolutely not going to happen.
It kind of brings me back to Air Guys, where it's like these characters were in a fighting game before, and that was always really cool.
That's
so
true.
That sounds exciting. Tifa was never in Smash, but now we can get her in this, which would be really cool. I'm curious to see what her model looks like. Street Fighter's art style is very, almost like cartoonish these days compared to before, like when they were doing more like anime alpha stuff.
That's true. I mean,
I'm curious to see what she looks like, but this could be the thing that finally gets me to pick up Street Fighter 6. I've kind of slept on it until now.
I mean, I'm not good at it, but I always loved the art direction and style of Street Fighter 6, and I just love watching like people play it. I just wish I was better at it, because I love Chun-Li. I've always loved Chun-Li. She's like one of my favorite waifus of all time. So I'm excited. I'm excited for all the characters in Street Fighter, besides just Tifa.
They still have not added Sakura, have they?
No, they did not.
Yeah, that's the thing that my brother's definitely waiting on. He's like,
Sakura and Vega was supposed to be.
She's like the most his favorite character, and it's like, aside from Ryu, and it's like, dude, put her in. Let's see here, we're talking tomboys. There is a really phenomenal tomboy, Farah, in the upcoming Tales of Eternia Remastered, which comes out on October 16th of this year. Have you ever played, well, you've played Tales games.
I've played Tales, but the only one I played from start to completion is Tales of Abyss. I played Tales of Phasonia with my brother, but he beat it. I didn't. I was watching him beat it.
Well, Tales of Eternia, yeah, that one came out before Symphonia. That was GameCube, and Eternia was back on PlayStation 1. They originally called it Tales of Destiny 2, because there was a Tales of Destiny that came before it. However, they called it that because they were trying to avoid, I'm assuming, copyright.
Yeah.
Perhaps something with like He-Man and the name Eternia being reused. So they called it Tales of Destiny 2. And then, ironically, in Japan, they made a separate game, Tales of Destiny 2, which is actual sequel to the previous one. So in the West, we had this dumb name that doesn't fit anymore. So now they can finally call it what it really was, Tales of Eternia. And this one was a special entry in the series for me. It was the first one I ever discovered. My brother and I got into it. You know, the couch co-op factor is so huge to Tales to me. And it's really cool. I'm glad to see an excuse to play it again. It's just a straight up remaster. There's nothing like remake about it, it looks like. It's got a new dub for some reason. I guess the English dub and the original one is a bit outdated. Maybe
it was
lacking in the localization standards that they have nowadays.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
Hopefully it's
the
not
pixel
bad
art's
when the
phenomenal.
translation comes back.
Adding quality of life features to old games is always really nice.
Right.
I'm super excited about this, knowing that it's the first of the original 2D Tales games they're actually giving the remaster treatment, as opposed to all the ones that came out on like PS3 and later, which are like really easy to make a remaster of, because you're just taking 1080 and making it 4K, and that's like hardly any different.
I mean, I love the fact that we're getting a rise in sprite-based games again. That's just amazing. That's super.
Oh yeah, definitely. And so this one's good. If you missed out on it and you still love pixel art games, this is for you. Hopefully you can find a friend, but my favorite is Farah. She's this cool country girl, and she beats people up with her fists. She's kind of the one that had like those swallow dance moves and things like that you might know that are famous from the Tales series. I think she might have even been the one to start those. I'm not sure, but I'm super excited about that. So that's cool. And yeah, you mentioned a new Atelier game, so Atelier Karia. Looks cool. That's coming sometime next year, right?
Yes. Look, yes. I mean, the fact that, again, they just brushed past that like it was not a big deal, but it was a huge deal. It was an amazing deal that we're getting a brand new Atelier with a brand new protagonist that is still in the same universe as Yumiya, who was technically in the trailer, hint, hint. But like, and she looks so cute. She's adorable.
Oh, Yumiya was?
She's,
You said Yumiya, right?
Yeah, Yumiya was in the trailer. She was in the trailer.
That's the other one I played recently.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that. So if it plays similarly, I'm definitely going to be excited. It was a bit more action intensive than the typical Atelier game.
No, yeah, it's going to play similar to what Yumiya brought. It has a little bit of its own quirk to the battle system for what I saw and from what I was breaking down, but for the most part, it's going to be pretty much the same style. She has like a grappling hook now that you can get around much easier than what it was for Yumiya. I mean, Yumiya had like the triple jumps that you could do in the game, but Kira, she looks so adorable. She's a little demon. She's so adorable. I can't contain it. And I love that each character, since like Ryza has his own theme, that Ryza was the thighs. You had Yumiya, who was legs, and she's like the tummy girl because she is all tummy showing.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that. Basically, yeah, I'm a sucker for bare midriff. If I see that in a character, I'm like immediately down. Like, I don't even know. So I don't necessarily know like what makes a good Atelier game from one to the next. I can probably just enjoy it for its own merits because I don't follow the entire series. But you throw a character like that in there, I'm like, all right, I'm interested.
And she just eats everything. It's like, why are you eating the freaking poisonous apple bomb? She just eats everything. There was like character art, concept art that Gus posted of her just eating. So that's going to be like her main quirk is eating everything. Oh, I cannot. Oh, this game's going to be amazing.
I imagine there's going to be a pretty dynamic cooking system then.
Maybe. I mean, I would rather say that over the building aspect, because like the Yumiya building aspect wasn't all that fun or enjoyable. It was fun for the first part. Like when you first do it, it's like, oh, okay, that's fun. But then when they constantly made you just do it, I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. In Atelier Yumiya, whenever they asked me to like increase comfort level or something, I found that you could just keep making couches and just fill the whole place with couches till you met the criteria, and then delete the couches. Before we forget, of course, we got the reveal of Kingdom Hearts 4, which is coming out next year, right? Is that when they said it was?
It does not have a release date yet. But
so we don't know. Thanks for clarifying.
We don't know when it's going to come out. But the fact that they showed that game at a Nintendo Direct, of all places, which I'm not mad at it, but like, man, I was sitting there, because, you know, at the beginning of the trailer, when I was doing my bingo card, I was like, people were like, oh, you should take off Kingdom Hearts. I was like, I don't know. Something in my gut tells me I need to keep it on here for some reason. And I'm glad it paid off, because, man.
I don't know, what do people want from another Kingdom Hearts after 3 was kind of supposed to rein in the series and give it a final conclusion? And it kind of did a half-assed job of that by putting cliffhangers at the very end.
They did.
Yeah, and I felt kind of cheated by that personally.
Kingdom Hearts.
I like the idea of seeing an older Sora. It doesn't really, again, the fact that this is kind of Final Fantasy Versus 13 that we never got, but using Kingdom Hearts instead, feels really awkward. Like it's like a game that is pretending to be another game at the same time. It can still be fun, but I'm not sure what I want from it.
I mean, at least
like what's going to make it good.
So that's cool. So I don't know. I feels like 3 was very complicated and convoluted because it was like it was supposed to end like the Ansem arc. I don't know. He just looks like a beast, a monster, and I like that. You know, you're fighting all these giant Heartless, and he's like throwing them through buildings, and it seems like that's going to play a part into it.
Yeah, it's got that kaiju vibe.
Oh my god, that game looked so magic.
It looks really fun. It looks a lot less Disney.
It does. It does.
All right, let's move on. I've got one here. Persona 4 Revival. That comes up February 18th of 2027. Did you ever play Persona 4?
I have. Never beat it as a kid, but I do have it. I have it back there, right there on my shelf.
To do it. It looks like this is pretty standard fare as far as the remake goes, you know, because Persona 3 was very faithful. Eventually with the Fez DLC and whatnot, but Persona 4 didn't have like all these wacky different versions that made it more complicated. Instead, you just have the game. They're gonna remake it, fine. I'm hoping that they include all of the costumes from the dancing games.
I hope so too.
Because they did not do that for Persona 3, which is crazy, which means Persona 5 is the only one that did. So I remember DLC coming out for that, or it was just part of Royal, where they had all the Persona 5 dancing costumes in there. I'm not sure why they didn't do that for 3. It felt like a missed opportunity. And so far, I'm not too enthused by the DLC that they're saying for Persona 4. It's like, oh yeah, you get to dress as the Phantom Thieves or the Velvet Room guys. I'm like, well, that's kind of always there. It's not that exciting anymore.
It looks, I think they are going to do a very faithful job for it. So hopefully they do add all the other stuff to it as well. Because
there were some people saying that the game, they're concerned about censorship, and I'm not entirely sure about that. Because there's no confirmation that it has been, but I guess some people are worried that like what's going to happen with Risei's dungeon, where she's like, you know, a pole dancer in her shadow form, or Kanji's bathhouse being like flamboyantly gay and whatnot. Like if people are upset that might be insensitive these days or something.
I think Atlus will definitely keep it faithful to the original because they know how much people love for it. I mean, look at 5, the first level, the first dungeon, you had a fucking molester gym person that turned on.
And they kept the sexual themes there, knowing that, you know, it's part of an important, mature story. It wasn't, you know. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't think they'll go too crazy. And of course, we got that announcement for Persona 6 being in development, but they didn't really show us much, so there's not much to go on. Nope. But they just said, yep, it's a thing.
It does look like it's going to turn to more of a creepier vibe of how 1 and 2 was. Is that like a more of a horror genre before?
I know a lot of people were saying that they've been wanting like a Persona game where the characters are like in college or adults. And I think that might be really cool. I'm not sure how it would work with the Persona formula, the sort of student life simulator thing, but I do think that might be fun to see.
I would like that too. I mean, I feel like as a person that is an adult now, that warrants more adult themes. I mean, I don't want them to go too crazy with it, but it would be nice to see them in college, at least. Because I mean, you can still keep the student vibe, but more of a, it actually could play more into like you hanging out and building prestige points with people because of the more college lifestyle that you have.
Yeah, like Catherine, but an RPG and not a puzzle game.
Yeah.
You know, that would be really cool.
Man, when are we gonna get new Catherine, bro?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like Catherine was an experiment for them to switch to the new graphics engine and see how that worked first before they started applying it to the Persona games, and it worked out phenomenal. I'm excited for this, and it's probably wasn't part of that main surge of announcements necessarily, but it was close around it, which is Granblue Fantasy Relink's Endless Ragnarok expansion.
Oh, I didn't see
that. So that game came out like already 2 to 3 years ago? I can't remember. It's a long time. But there's getting a new expansion on July 9th, which is adding new story, new characters, new enemies, which I think is good because one of the biggest downsides of Relink was how short it was. The main campaign was only like 15 hours long from my playtime. And then the rest of it was just mission mode to the end with just repeating, slaying a lot of the same monsters over and over and over again to get your characters really, really strong. And that was fun. I liked the characters. The combat was amazing. and I pushed it to its limit. So now I'm hoping to see what new stuff they add. Lots of new waifu. My favorite being Beatrix.
Beatrix is cool. She's fun.
She's that one that's like, she's like a colleague of Zeta, so they wear like the same uniform. So, and those two are like my favorites.
I didn't play Granblue Fantasy Relink when it first came out, but I did get the chance to play the closed beta, and I mostly used Katarina because I just love Katarina. I loved her in the fighting game, and I loved her in this, and she was definitely badass. But I did use Beatrix a lot. Everybody was using Beatrix during the beta, and like I love the more like the dungeon crawler kind of style that the game is going for, more like I guess Monster Hunter Wild style is going for, as you select a mission and then you go and you have like this bit, like you can give commands and fight, and you have like this whole like link system that you have for the game now. Like you have it's like, it feels like it's more of a team game from what the expansion that I was playing for.
Then the last thing I've got on my personal list of things to mention is actually out right now is Utawarerumono, the final entry, which is called Past and Present Rediscovered. Technically, it's a sequel to the monochrome Mobius game that we got a little while back, but it's kind of incorporating, I guess, the finale of the mainline Utawarerumono visual novels as well. I don't know if you've ever played those.
No, I haven't. I don't even know what those are.
They're really cool. A series of great visual novels, really cool story. I think the main aesthetic is that there's like these cute little beast people. They've got cute ears and tails and things like that, but it's sort of like a warring states, like almost Dynasty Warriors or feudal Japan kind of environment.
Okay, I think I do know what you're talking about now. I do.
Yep.
I've never played the series, but I do know of it.
Yep. And they recently all came out for PS4. Good. Yeah, they're all available for that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're all available digitally on the storefront, which is dumb. So you might actually have to track down the physical copies, which I think are worth owning, but I think it's dumb that you have to.
I think some of my community members were telling me I should cover that because it has some pretty good story and fan service in it. So, and I was like,
yeah, it's got some really cool characters, and so now they finally finished the series, as they're saying, with this spin-off sequel. That might be worth checking out for me. I'm hoping to find time to do it.
Right.
Part of me was excited for the Utawarerumono's. It got a gacha game, which is like, oh, great. I wish it were like a regular game that actually made it to English, you know, that kind of thing.
Right.
But the benefit here is, I guess, that now that the game is done, they're considering doing like an offline version that you can just like buy as a whole game, like at the end of it. Which is, I think, that could set like a new precedent for live service games, make them all, because like I'd be more willing to invest in the live service part of a game if I knew that at the very end I would still have something I get to keep permanently.
That's what they should have done with Resident. Sorry.
Exactly. So this might be a good sign, a good step in the right direction.
Golly, that burns me up every time. Every time. Besides all the stuff that we already talked about, the other thing was Code Veronica. Like I am in like the big trend of Capcom remaking a lot of their games, and I'm excited because we get to see Claire again, because I do love Claire. She's like my favorite protagonist out of all the games. But I'm also concerned because there's things for Code Veronica that was in the game originally that I don't know if they're going to do in this one, like Claire's ass shot that they did with Steve in the original game. So I don't know if they're going to, because it's a harmless, like everyone looks at ass at some point in time, so it's not really that big of a deal in my mind. But we live in the internet age days where people get offensive of everything.
Well, Capcom especially, they've definitely drank the Kool-Aid on, like, we have to make sure that they almost feel ashamed of their old stuff. Like the Capcom Fighting Collection censored like artwork of Mai, which is really dumb. And stuff like that. So the Resident Evil games, I like the idea of what they're doing at the remakes. What I don't like is their lack of having fun. Because the old Resident Evil games were like, hey, look at all these fun little outfits you can get for the characters. You could put them in a maid outfit, you could put them in a bikini, you could do whatever you want, and it didn't mean that you disrespected the characters. It's just you had a lot more fun with that. And then Anita Sarkeesian came along specifically targeting those Resident Evil games, among other things, for objectifying, outfits and things.
Right.
That they just don't do that, even though there would be nothing wrong if they did.
Exactly. And like, I feels like, for a company just a few years ago where like all raving about Lady Demetrius and her big ass and stuff, and people like and loving it. So I would like to think, with Claire, they would share the same sentiment with that. But I guess we're gonna have to just wait and see. So, but I'm excited for that.
That's always weird, because that falls into, I guess, like what people discuss saying, like, safe horny, which is a really interesting concept. It's like sometimes a certain demographic, like usually if it's the offended group that finds a character really attractive, then it's fine.
Right.
As long as the presumed straight male gaze doesn't like it.
Right.
That's usually what it is. So if a character has like queer coding, or in Lady Dimitrescu, it's sort of like that, like she's in control, she's the dommy mommy kind of. I think that makes her more of like a safe horny versus like what people are freaking out with. And it really sucks that whenever Stellar Blade comes up, there's always drama. And the thing going around with the new one is that like Evie looks like a child. I'm like, no, she does not. Absolutely not. And there's this weird thing where I don't think people really believe that looks like a child.
No.
I don't think that. I think the people saying that have like an axe to grind. They're upset that this game caters to a lot of male fan service type stuff. So they're not able to, whatever they were going to argue instead that doesn't work anymore, then they just throw out like the age thing because they're upset or whatever. But
they're just mad that the game did so well and it was so cool, and that also women also do like the game, and it's just a badass game. It's a fun ass game. And
yes, there's a lot of women who love Stellar Blade.
Funny that the same people who are calling Evie a child was the same people that was saying that Eve looked like a child too. So it's like there's no winning. There's no winning ever. And it's like, can't we just be excited that we have a new game that's badass with a sexy protagonist that's doing cool shit? And they're just mad that Asian culture games are doing better than American games. And it just sucks that for them, because that's all, when they only play like the God of Wars, the Spider-Mans, the 2Ks, the X-Men, Wolverines and stuff, and they see all these other games getting like the fair treatment, they have to find some reason to drag it down. But I love that Shift Up is one of those companies that don't give a fuck about what people say.
I mean, when it came down to it, there was that one guy who said that it was like, it looks like a game from a bygone era. And I'm like, excuse me, this is my era.
Right.
This is what I want more of. I don't know how culture, at least maybe on the Western game journalist side of things, thought that gaming has changed. It's gotten more sophisticated or whatever. It's like, no, it's still this awesome stuff. And so I'm glad Shift Up is just like, whenever they get shown criticism, they're just sort of like, you know what, we're gonna do what we love to do.
Right, exactly. Other games real quick that I'm excited for is Tomb Raider, the new Tomb Raider, even though we knew about it already.
We got the two different Tomb Raiders, right?
Yes.
So we're working on two. Which one are you referring to?
I'm talking about the Legacy of Atlantis, the remake of the first game. That's coming out next year, and it looks absolutely fabulous. I think they made Laura so cool and so hot.
Did we get a new trailer of it?
Yes, we did. It was in the State of Play.
So I'll make sure to show that footage, but I didn't realize.
Yeah, they showed it in the State of Play. It was like one of the main things for me that I cared about, besides like seeing cool new Wolverine stuff in God of War. But Tomb Raider stole the show for me. I was like, I saw a new Tomb Raider. We have a release date, which it comes out, I think, February of next year. I might have to recheck on that, but regardless, it's coming out next year and it looks amazing. She looks cool, she looks badass. She seems like she has that old Lara Croft, confident, sassy, just like swag about her, and she looks amazing. She looks so good.
Oh yeah.
Like they gave her a nice ass in the game, which looks amazing. It's like they took a little bit from her titties, which sucks, but put it into her ass, so now she has a little bit of both.
Yeah, I mean, it'll go a long way, in my opinion, if they could have a bit more fun with it again.
Yes.
As far as like how the original Tomb Raiders gave her a whole bunch of different outfits.
Yes.
And even like legends and stuff like that. So if they could throw in some of those outfits to this newer version, that would be a sign to me that they're not trying to like shame you for liking that side of Laura. And as long as they put that in there, then I'll be like, hell yeah.
They did add a new outfit for her where they showed off her new ass in the game. So they're having fun with it, but still like trying to like make her badass at the same time.
Yeah.
From there, I think the other games that I was excited for that we don't have to spend too much time on is Spyro. I'm super excited that we're getting a new Spyro because it seemed like when Xbox bought Activision, it seemed like we were never going to get another new Crash or Spyro. But to see Spyro show up with the brand new design and look, and he looks a little older. He has like a kind of like a mohawk a little bit, and it looks fun. I'm like, okay, my childhood self is just coming through playing baby Spyro, and I'm just like, yes, we're finally getting a new Spyro, like not a remake, but a new Spyro, and that's so cool to see. And then Rayman coming back, even though it's a remake of Legends, but it's cool to see Rayman back. I mean, some people are saying that the titties got decreased, but I think it's just because of the art style. But maybe I'm just delusional.
You mean with like those fairy girls?
Yeah.
That you tend to rescue or whatever?
The fairies and also the barbarian girl, their titties got decreased.
It looked very superficially different to me.
Yeah.
Like, I think it still had some of the same vibe.
That's what I thought. For me, it looked like the same vibe, but just a different art style. Other than that, Castlevania looks amazing. I love that there's a new Belmont. And I think Sarah Belmont looks fucking awesome and badass. Besides those, I'm interested in Wolverine just because I love X-Men for the blood and stuff. I don't like the way they made Jean Grey in the game. I'm with everyone on that. So hopefully they fix that. But I have a feeling that they won't fix that. And then of course, TMNT. We're actually getting the last Ronin game is like huge. Because my first love of anything was Ninja Turtles, and as a kid, and I can like quote the first Ninja Turtles movie like the back of my hand. So like I am so excited to finally be able to play one of the best written TMNT storylines ever, and it's just amazing. And it's being made by Platinum Games as well, so you know it's just gonna be good. Oh my god, I love TMNT. I love that TMNT is one of those franchises like Sonic and like classic Mario that doesn't die, it just transcends.
Yeah, so I mean, when you mentioned Sonic, that just reminds me that the Sonic Racing game also has some new collabs in the works. One of them being Evangelion, which is huge. That's gonna be interesting.
That's huge. How did they even swing that?
Like, does that mean we're gonna get a playable character? Who's driving the car? Is it Shinji driving the car? Get in the car, Shinji.
No, unfortunately, it's Ray and Asuka, which I'm happy for.
Well, okay, that's good. That's actually who I wanted.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. So it's only the girls. It's also they announced TMNT is coming to Sonic Racing. Cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure that happened too.
And
so
Avatar,
lots of good things there. Lots of crossover of fun fandoms. So many awesome games coming our way. Hopefully we've done our job to fill you in on which ones we're excited about, when they're coming out, how you can obtain them. Definitely want to know what you guys think. Are your favorite games coming out? Thank you so much for joining me in this discussion.
Thank you for having me. I'm sorry if I yapped too much for your audience. I hope I wasn't too annoying about the stuff that I was talking about, but I love it. I love talking about games. I can always
I think they can see your passion for sure.
So, but I'm excited. Gamers are winning right now. We're eating good, and I'm excited. I'm very excited for the future of gaming for sure.
Absolutely. So I think we'll leave it off on that. And until next time, celebrate your fandom.
Bye-bye.
I want to give a special shout out to all my $10 and up supporters. Video Gamer 75, Dante Pendragon, Time Travel Master, Stephen Elak, Mystic Samurai 1983, Otaku Mom, Free Brick, Jugemu Unko, Lunar Works, Link Pendrago, James Hewitt, Uncanny EXP, Crow Calum, Gatsby 1922, Matal Mataru, Winter's Edge, Thanathiel, Foxbox, Rogue's Hideout Secret Stash, Draco Chaotic, Caitlin P, Sith Lord 906, Vladimirovna, The Taz 96, Kengo X 77, Alistair Bernadotte, and Liamon 3. Thank you all so much.